I want to start by saying something important. I'm usually a skeptic, a materialist, someone who believes in science, facts, and what can be proven. I don't do ghost stories, don't dabble in the occult, and I don't believe in spirits. But what happened to me one summer night in 2022 at an abandoned mental asylum here in my state has shaken me to my core, made me question everything I thought I knew about reality. It's a story I've barely told anyone because, honestly, it sounds crazy. But I'm hoping maybe someone out there has had a similar experience or can help me make sense of it. I'm not going to say the name of the asylum. It's well known in my state, and I don't want the story traced back to me. I'll just say it's one of those old, forgotten places, massive, decaying, with a dark history buried under layers of dust and silence. That summer, my 3 friends and I, 1 girl, 3 guys, decided to explore it. It was late, maybe 1 a.m. or so, when we arrived. The weather was weird. Lightning flashed in the sky intermittently. The moon was full and bright, but a thick fog had rolled in, hanging heavy over everything. There was no rain, but the air was damp and cool. What stuck out, what none of us could explain, was the frogs. Thousands of frogs covered the road as we drove closer. They seemed to come from nowhere, like an army marching silently. The sound was eerie, but we joked about it, said it was perfect weather for ghost hunting. We parked and climbed over the rusted fence surrounding the asylum grounds. Inside, the place was a ghost town, peeling paint, shattered windows, the smell of mold and rot thick in the air. We slipped into the main patient building. It was dark and cold inside, and almost immediately, the 3 guys said they felt wrong. Uneasy. They were all big guys, tough and loud normally, but they started complaining about how uncomfortable they felt. 2 of them even wanted to leave. Zoe and I weren't scared though. I don't know how to explain it. Almost sedated. Zoe and I stayed behind, wandering the building alone for 20 or 30 minutes. The guys eventually left ahead of us, chilling in the parking lot. That's when Zoe pulled out a Ouija board. I'd never played with one before, but she said her boyfriend, who lived in the town and claimed he could communicate with spirits, thought it might work. We moved to a small pavilion near what I think was an adolescent residential unit on the asylum grounds. The others sat around the board, asking questions, but the planchette mostly just gave gibberish or nothing at all. I was skeptical, told them it was probably a trick, a magnetic effect, or some sleight of hand, and walked away with 2 of the guys to talk about something else. Then Zoe asked me to replace her boyfriend on the board. I wasn't convinced this would change anything, but I humored her. She said the spirit wanted to speak only to girls. I sat down. The room was heavy with fog drifting through the broken windows. The board felt cold in my hands. We asked simple yes/no questions at first. Then I asked about the spirit's birth year, the year it died, and when it ended up in the asylum. The planchette started moving on its own, spelling out years, phrases, and clear, coherent answers that chilled me to my bones. I was sure Zoe was messing with me, but her face was dead serious. No smile, no prankster grin. Just pure concentration. When I asked for its name, the board went crazy, spelling nonsense letters, CRZT, XZVR, things I couldn't make sense of. I asked if it was a boy or a girl, and the board just went still. No movement at all. We packed up quickly. Walking back to the car, something inside me felt off. A cold numbness settled in my chest, growing heavier by the second. I sat in the back seat, head in my hands, barely speaking. The guys kept asking if I was okay. I said I was tired, that it was just late. But I knew the truth. Something had followed me from that place. The nights that followed were a nightmare. My senior year of high school, the year after that summer, turned into hell. Suddenly, my body was in pain all over, like I was burning from the inside out. I used to be an athlete. The year before, I made the state championships for swimming. That year, I struggled to make it through practice without feeling like I'd collapse. I got sick all the time, missed school constantly, and then the panic attacks started, before races, before classes, anytime I felt pressured. I spiraled into addiction. It began small. Smoking weed on weekends with friends. Drinking at parties till I blacked out. But soon it got worse. I started trying LSD and MDMA, First in small doses at concerts, then alone in large quantities. I was drinking all the time, before class, after work, before bed. My mental health was a wreck. I was paranoid, convinced people were watching and judging me. I heard voices constantly, whispering, criticizing. I stopped caring about school, about friends. My passion was gone. The things I loved became empty. I also developed hypersexual behaviors. I was reckless, sleeping with multiple men at once, refusing monogamy. Toxic and reclusive. I lost my good friends. Eventually, I stopped wanting intimacy at all. Anger consumed me. I was cruel, especially to my mother, who tried to help. My behavior was out of control. I hated myself but felt trapped. It all came crashing down in May 2023. I found out I wasn't graduating from high school. My life was a mess. I didn't apply to college. I was sick all the time. I felt hopeless. I tried to end it, overdosing on pills. I failed. I was institutionalized, medicated, put in intensive outpatient programs for substance abuse. I barely graduated, enrolled in community college. But the darkness followed. No matter what I did, no matter where I moved, no matter how many times I started over, the pain, the paranoia, the crushing weight came back. I've thought about this a lot. Maybe it was trauma from earlier years. Maybe it was drug abuse. Maybe it was hypermobility and physical illness. But before age 15, my life was good. I had no major mental health issues. Then the summer of that night in the asylum changed everything. I also once witnessed someone else have a terrifying physical experience at the asylum, but that's a story for another time. I'm not into occultism or witchcraft. I'm not religious. But after what happened, I'm less convinced that everything can be explained away by science alone. I think I stirred something at that asylum, something dark and relentless. And it's been following me ever since. If you've had experiences like this or know what to do, please reach out. I don't know if any of this is connected, but I'm desperate to crawl out of this pit, to feel human again. I never planned on going inside that place. The Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, a massive Gothic revival complex that's been closed for over 25 years now. But I was dared. It started as a stupid joke between friends one late summer night. Everyone said it was haunted, but none of us believed it until that night. Nonetheless, they dared me to go in. I found a gap in the fencing near the old west wing, slipped inside, and immediately the air changed. The silence was thick, pressing in. My flashlights barely reached the peeling walls and broken windows. The place smelled like rust and decay. I wandered down one of the darker hallways near the surgical ward, drawn by a strange curiosity. That's when I heard this low, ragged breathing behind me. I turned, the flashlight swinging, but there was nothing there. Just the empty hall, stretching into darkness. Then came the footsteps, fast, uneven, coming from the shadows. My heart slammed against my ribs as a figure darted into view. Not a ghost, not a shadow, but a man wild-eyed, clothes torn, face smeared with dirt and something darker I couldn't place. He was whispering, or maybe mumbling, words I couldn't make out, but his eyes locked on me like a predator. I took off running. The echo of my footsteps mixed with his frantic chase down the cracked linoleum corridors. Every turn I made, he was right behind me, close enough to hear the rasp of his breath. My phone died halfway through. Sadly, I forgot to charge it. The screen went black, no signal, no light. Just me, the sound of my pounding heart, and him. I burst through a side exit, gasping for air, and looked back just once. He was gone, vanished into the night like he'd never been there at all. Even now, I don't know if he was one of the forgotten patients or someone else entirely. But whatever he was, I didn't care, 'cause he chased me relentlessly like he wanted to end me. Story 3. I'm a history major with a YouTube channel, Concrete Chronicles, where I spotlight forgotten buildings. When I first stumbled on Lima State Hospital for the Criminally Insane, I thought it was just another abandoned campus, until I realized it was once the second largest poured concrete building in America, dwarfing nearly everything except the Pentagon. Built in 1908 as an asylum and later converted into a prison, it didn't finally close until 2004. By then, over 300 escape attempts and a landmark lawsuit had marked its history. What I found there, though, wasn't in any dusty archives. The hospital was known for its brutal past, but paranormal stories? They were vague, just rumors of strange noises and odd feelings people got there. I didn't expect anything, honestly. I just wanted to see the place before it was torn down or redeveloped. I arrived just after dawn, circling the perimeter by car, concrete walls 7 feet high, razor wire glinting. My assistant, Tina, slipped under a cut in the chain link fence while I kept watch. Inside, the courtyard looked like a battlefield of broken benches and rusted equipment. The air smelled of rot and diesel from the nearby correctional yard. We headed to the D-block wing, rumored to house the worst offenders. Flashlights in hand, we found a cracked window and pried it open. Inside, peeling paint revealed the hospital's old pale green color scheme. We checked rooms that once held patients, empty beds, scattered papers, and dust were everywhere. At one point, my assistant paused, looked behind us, and whispered, "Did you hear that?" I didn't catch anything, but we both got quiet. There was a faint clicking sound, like footsteps on dry wood or maybe loose gravel nearby. We stopped and listened, but nothing followed, just the hollow quiet. We continued through the corridors. My phone's flashlight flickered briefly, then steadied. No cold spots or strange lights, just the creaks and groans of the building. In one hallway, a door at the end swung open slowly by itself, just a few inches, before settling shut again. Neither of us moved. We looked at each other, unsure of what to think. The breeze couldn't have caused it, the windows were sealed tight. We decided not to push it and started heading back. Back at the car, we talked it over. No paranormal fireworks, just that creeping feeling that someone or something had been nearby, watching but not wanting to be seen. It was enough to make us agree that maybe some unexplainable things do happen in this world. Before we dive into the next story, if you're here for the first time, make sure to subscribe to our channel and tap the bell icon so you never miss a chilling tale. We rely on your support to keep bringing you true, terrifying stories, so please share these videos with your friends and family. Thanks for being here. Now, let's continue. I'm an atheist, and I never believed in ghosts or any entity, for that matter. Honestly, I thought all those creepy stories about abandoned hospitals were just that, stories. But there's this place near San Luis Obispo that has been whispered about for years. It's not one of those huge, sprawling asylums, but an old children's hospital. I first heard about it from my girlfriend, who studies at Cal Poly, and every time I visit, she warns me to stay away. I mean, it's just an abandoned building, right? Empty rooms, peeling paint, broken windows, nothing more than ruins. The building sits quietly on a hill, not far from the probation department, in plain view. It's got that classic crumbling look that makes you want to step inside and see for yourself, even if just for a minute. I remember the first time I went there before they fenced it off. It was during the day, the floors were burnt out in some parts, and the ground inside was unstable. I wore a dust mask, the place was riddled with asbestos, so I was careful not to stir up the dust. I wasn't there looking for ghosts. I don't even believe in that stuff. But as I walked down the empty halls, I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone. It's weird because some say they've seen faces watching them from the darkness, or footsteps echoing just behind them. I didn't see anything like that, but I remember turning around one time and catching a shadow slip away down the hallway. Maybe it was a homeless person, or maybe just a trick of the light. But then again, why would anyone be lurking there, and why disappear so quickly? One day, my friends and I dared to come back at night. The three of us had watched horror movies to psych ourselves up, because honestly, it's easy to get scared when you're already expecting to be. The fields leading up to the building were overgrown, and we parked our car far away so no one would see us coming. The place was pitch black inside. The floors creaked under our feet, and the wind outside sounded like distant crying. We kept the flashlights off mostly, using a night vision camcorder to document the place. The building moaned, or maybe it was just the old wood settling, but it added to the creepy vibe. Then, out of nowhere, we realized another group was there. They must have arrived after us, and for a moment, we thought we'd seen glowing eyes down a hallway. It freaked us out so bad we ran, only to bump into one of them laughing, saying they thought we were ghosts. That's when it hit me, maybe some of these stories come from people just being scared of each other, or messing around in the dark. The place was messed up, no doubt, graffiti, burnt holes, all sorts of trash. But sometimes, the scariest thing is the unknown or other people. Still, there are stories I can't explain. People say they've heard voices telling them they violated some sort of sanctuary, that they'll pay for it. I had to further look up the place online, and one Reddit user swore that after visiting the hospital, their life turned upside down in ways that seemed like a curse. Story 5. I didn't believe in the paranormal till this happened to me. The idea of ghosts or demons. That all sounded like late-night YouTube clickbait back then. I just thought it'd be cool to explore an abandoned place. That's it. It's been years now, and my friend group still talks about what we saw that night. And the more we talk about it, the less sense it makes. This wasn't just creepy, it felt wrong. I was in my late teens. A friend told me about this abandoned tuberculosis hospital/asylum about 2 hours from my place. It had been shut down since the 1990s, forgotten and left to rot in the woods. I barely looked it up, I didn't know the history and didn't want to ruin the surprise. I just knew my friend had been there before and said it was wild. So I packed up with 2 guy friends, one my age and into the paranormal, and another who was older, and one girlfriend. We all piled into my car, parked far off the road to avoid cops, and hiked through a busted section of fence. It was around 8 or 9 p.m. when we went in. The first building was fine. Quiet, eerily quiet, but nothing that felt off. We poked around, took some photos, and tried not to fall through any weak floorboards. Then we decided to check out another building 2 over. Only a few minutes passed, but somehow, we ended up standing at the same front entrance we'd exited from earlier. Same broken chair. Same busted light. It didn't make sense. We should have been deeper into the property. My friend who'd been here before looked confused, and we all felt that shift. We didn't talk about it. Just brushed it off and kept moving. Upstairs was where things changed. You could tell it had been a children's ward, the toys scattered on the floor, the tiny beds, and, strangest of all, a soundproof room. We walked quietly. That whole area felt wrong. Some of the toys, and I swear this to this day, started moving. None of us said anything, frozen like animals. Then, a door slammed shut in the hallway ahead. We heard footsteps. Heavy. Deliberate. My friend who'd been here before raised his hand, stopping us. We didn't wait to see what was coming. We turned and left. We should have left. But against every instinct, we let the guys talk us into checking out the basement. The second my girlfriend stepped onto the basement floor, her flashlight, which had been working fine, died. Just dead. No flicker, no fade, just black. We tried everything to get it back on. Nothing. My head was spinning. My chest felt tight. I wasn't the only one. All of us were getting lightheaded. My girlfriend whispered that she felt like people were surrounding us. I knew exactly what she meant. It felt like a crowd, standing shoulder to shoulder in the dark just beyond where we could see. We ran. We ended up in what used to be the ballroom, an eerie, decaying space with high ceilings and broken windows. There was an old table in the center. We each took a side and sat silently. Then we heard it, another door slamming. My friend, the one into the paranormal, decided this was the time to communicate. Knock once if you're a boy, twice if you're a girl. A single knock answered him, but close. The other guy, the one communicating with it, spoke again. Come sit with us. Suddenly, the room turned freezing. All warmth vanished like a vacuum had been pulled. He stood up. We're leaving. You are not to follow us. We left. We didn't run, but we moved. The moment I stepped outside, the nausea, the pressure in my chest, the fog in my mind, it all lifted like a switch had been flipped. We didn't talk much on the way back. No music. Just the sound of tires on asphalt. Then finally, the one who'd been ignoring the thing, the guy I'd grabbed, broke the silence. Did you guys see it? Every one of us said yes. Each of us described a version of the same figure. Then he turned to my girlfriend and me. Thank you, he said, for not acknowledging it. I think that helped. I didn't sleep that night. that should have been the end of it. But weird things started happening when we got home. My girlfriend started having her hair lifted by invisible hands, not once, but 3 times. I started waking up with a stabbing pain in my lower back. It wasn't constant, but it would flare up out of nowhere, sharp and sudden. It faded after a few days, but I was terrified it might come back. Another friend who had visited the same place months before told us she had seen a huddled black mass following them in the hallway. Her fiancé had seen faces hiding in the corners of the stone rooms. Another classmate said to me after hearing my story that their tour guide asked 2 strangers in the ER wing why they were waiting, and they claimed she told them to wait there. She hadn't, and apparently the guide had gone pale when they said that. Was it demonic? Residual? Something worse? But even now, nearly a decade later, just talking about it makes my skin crawl. I used to think people who believed in the paranormal were gullible. But now I think they know something most of us don't. Story 6. We were all amateurs, no ghost hunters, no special equipment, just 4 people curious enough to wander inside, despite all the warnings. The rumors said you'd hear footsteps when no one else was around, sudden chills that cut right through your jacket, and maybe catch a glimpse of a shadow moving just out of sight. It was one of those early autumn evenings, the kind where the air feels heavy and cold even if the sun is still up. We slipped through a broken window at Rollinsford State Hospital, flashlights barely piercing the thick darkness. The first few minutes were mostly laughs and the usual nervous joking, but that shifted as we moved deeper in. Around the main hallway, we caught the faint echo of footsteps, slow, deliberate, but when we turned, no one was there. My heart sped up, but I told myself it was probably one of the others trying to mess with me. Still, that eerie sound stuck with me as we moved through the empty rooms lined with peeling wallpaper and rusted radiators. Then came the cold spot. Not just a chill in the air, it was like stepping into a pocket of ice. I remember my breath visible in the flashlight beam and my fingers going numb inside my gloves. I stopped and looked around, calling out, but my voice felt swallowed by the silence. That's when I saw it, a dark figure standing near the top of the stairwell at the end of the corridor. It wasn't a full person, more like a shadow stretched thin. I blinked and it was gone. No sound, no movement, just empty stairs. We didn't stick around much longer after that. We've come to the end of the series today, and if you made it this far, you're braver than most. These were just a few of the true experiences people have chosen to share, but we know there are more out there. Maybe even yours. If you've lived through something strange, something you can't explain, share it in the comments.